Hello and welcome to Ham Nation, episode 586 for November 20th, 2024. Hello, everybody. I'm Josh KI6NAZ. Thanks again for coming out to the Ham Radio Crash Course to watch the next episode of Ham Nation. Let's say hello to our wonderful, esteemed panel of hosts. How's it going, everybody? How are you doing this fine week?
We're doing good.
Upright and sucking air.
Yeah. Randy is back up there. How you doing, Randy? How you been?
Oh, I've been good. We survived the bomb cyclone that came up along the west coast or down the west coast. So we had, I clocked 55-mile-an-hour plus winds here, which
Wow.
I think was low, and lots of rain, and power went off a couple times last night. So I know what to do from going to Quartz Fest. So I'm ready to power stuff.
Very good. Very good.
And
you'll
we'll
be
talking
joining
about
us.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and I'll be talking about tech scopes a little bit. So I'd like to know in the chat room, how many people have used tech scopes and what's your favorite one? So
there you go. Gordo, how have you been?
We are well. We're waiting for Randy's bomb cyclone to hit down here in SoCal. We'll probably get a dribble and a drabble, but nothing big. We're fine.
You look Turkey Day ready down there.
Yeah, we've got turkey, and our turkeys are standing tall. Very good.
Don, how have you been?
I find it odd that after talking about turkeys, you come directly to me, but that's okay. Not like
yeah,
we're doing well. We've been dealing with a little bit of rain down here too, but it's the strangest thing. Here we are, the last 2 weeks of hurricane season, 10 days of hurricane season, and we were.
Uh-oh. The hurricane just got done.
And we had an internet interruption.
Yeah, you ran out of bits. Yeah.
While we
I'll
wait for
take
him.
it from here.
Oh, wait.
Hi, everybody.
He's still not completely gone. I can hear him a little bit.
Oh, maybe we should hang up on him.
Working?
Oh, you're okay.
Hello.
Your audio is back.
There we are.
Wait.
There we are. Hi, Don.
Your satellite feed is dropping, Don. How are you back?
That is bizarre. I'm just looking to see what my microphone is supposed to be in it. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
It was the internet.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
froze.
internet.
It's odd. Anyway, yeah, so we were dealing with that one last little tropical thing that spun around down the Gulf, never could realize what it wanted to do. And we've been dealing with variants of that and a little rain yesterday, but it was gorgeous today. We had a cool front come everything out and cool everything down, so it's actually jacket weather down here in the beach, and I'm liking it.
Excellent.
I really am.
Yeah. Amanda, how you hanging on? You dazzled us with your snow angels last time we were live. How have you dug yourself out from the snow?
That was fun. I have defrosted. Yes, thank you. The last week we were out camping. We took the tower trailer, so I hung out at camp and talked on the radio while Jeff looked for elk that he didn't get, unfortunately. And I'm going to show a couple pictures of that in my Ham It and Can It session. And I can't wait for that. Everybody stay tuned. Just think in your mind how many HTs you all own. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, Lord.
There should be some
I have
whoppers
3
in
on
the
my
chat.
desk.
Okay, yeah. I put them all in one group picture, so they're all missing from the Ham Shack area. But anyhow, that's what's going on here. So, Gordo, we'll send it back over to you. Take it away with your shot.
All right. Well, thanks, Amanda, and good to see everybody. Well, let's go mobile and take a look at mobile antenna choices, but not so much the antenna, but the instructions about the antenna mount. Well, we see this a lot on mobile VHF and UHF brand new antennas, warning saying that they won't work as well on a mag mount than they would permanently affixed to the vehicle. So with that in mind, it doesn't mean you're not going to have necessarily a good signal, but you're going to bang the heck out of your car if it blows off. And if you don't move the magnet now and then, you're going to get cavitation with rust showing up under the magnet because it's lacking oxygen. And the mag mount it looks temporary, and if you squish it in the window or the door, then you're off the air. Well, let's take a look and see what the leading suppliers of ham radio have. And the two big choices come down to Comet and Diamond. And there are some other good ones, but we'll take a look and see why you want to stick with the big boys.
There you go.
This is your typical trunk lip mount, and it's a real favorite because it hangs in there without destroying any of the paint on the top side of the vehicle. And oh yeah, look at this one though. This came from a undisclosed source, and you see the 4 Allen screws, they're already rusted, and we barely had it on a vehicle for a few months. So you want to make sure you're going with a quality mount that will come with all stainless steel, including the Allen mounts. Before you hang it onto your vehicle, see that little tab to the left? You want to make darn sure that it's not going to impact on your rear view, on your rear window. This one is darn close when we opened up the trunk lid on another friend's ham setup. So be very, very cautious. Now, this is terminating to a 3/8 threaded whip. The one we just showed you before this one was to the SO239, which is like a VHF connector. So they have same mount, but different types of wiring to that mount. So here again is what we did to ensure we don't chip the paint on the outside of the vehicle or break a rear window. We bend that center stabilizing device just a little bit out so it's not going to dig into the car. And also notice that the little tiny Allen screws, there's 4 of them. If you have only 2, it's not as good as twice as many 4. So try and look for a mount, either Diamond or Comet, that's going to have 4 Allen screws that go on the inside of the vehicle trunk. Now, those Allen screws also have a little tiny plate that they include so they don't actually dig into the back of the trunk or however you're going to mount it. Wrong. You want those Allen screws to dig into the backside of the vehicle's lid or wherever to make sure that it's well grounded. Many folks have had that little tab so they don't scar the inside of the vehicle. Hey, we're hams, so do it, tighten it up, but don't do it with a little tab they include, but rather dig those Allen screws right into the underside of how you're going to mount it, and then you'll have a good signal. Now watch out, this looks like the Allen device is a little rusty itself, but it's that center little device coming out that's to provide stability, and on some mounts you may find that you've got to bend it just slightly out so it's not going to dig into the top side of the vehicle. Oh, there we go. It's okay. And notice that they have the very, very small coax that's only about 2 inches long, and then it goes to the larger coax. This is necessary to ensure that when you close the trunk on this particular vehicle, you're not going to sever a piece of coax that's like RG58U. This is the little tiny stuff, and it'll handle 100 watts. So you're going to be okay if you're even doing HF. And here we see that the antenna is a dual band 2-meter 440. And now you've got a good ground plane because you've dogged that mount 4 times with stainless steel screws into the back side of the trunk. And there's a little closer look, and I put a little strain relief on this one in that they carry sometimes a rack back there, and I didn't want anything to break that little teeny coax. Now, this is the SO239 mount, which most VHF and UHF antennas are looking for. If you're going to do a small screwdriver antenna or a HF whip, that's going to take a 3/8-24. And the 3/8-24, you can order it separately. They come with the cable kits and easily swap them out. So this particular antenna was from Diamond. They dabbled in high frequency. Of course, Diamond has VHF, UHF, and a ton of these different mounts. I like their K400. It really means business. And the Diamond antenna has a loading coil about midway up for the HF bands. And this is good. And you're able to tune the tip whip very easily to get it to resonate. So there's the Diamond. Yeah, but what happens when I go in the garage? Well, you don't want to know if you forget to fold it down. First of all, you need to take a little SWR meter and do the adjustment, and that top whip will slide in and out for changing maybe 50 to 100 kilohertz, not much more than that. If it doesn't resonate right where you need it to go, and adjusting the top whip up and down doesn't make much of a difference, and you really need to decrease the frequency, you need to increase the frequency higher, you can take a little bit of tin foil and just temporarily wrap it around one of those outside coil windings. They're covered, so you're not going to short them out, but you want to just put the tin foil over about 2 or 3 turns of that coil winding, and you'll see that you're now about a half a meg higher. So a little bit of tuning sometimes, if the tip whip won't work, is a good way to go, although it looks a little strange that you got a little bit of tin foil there, but you've not had to short out the antenna coils itself. And of course, they have one antenna for each band. I like the MFJ. Gosh, I wish they were still here, but their antennas still are. I see them in both the DX Engineering and the Ham Radio Outlet catalog. They've got one that goes up about 12 feet, one that goes about 17 feet, which is perfect for the 20-meter band, and then a taller one yet. Won't quite do 40 meters at 32 feet, but they're telescopic, and if you're mobile at rest, they're a quick way to change bands from 40 to 20 to 15 to 10 meters and 6 meters, and that's because they're stainless steel telescopic, and you see them in both the HRO catalog as well as the DX Engineering catalog, and probably they're available at Gigaparts. That does a fabulous job of showing all they have on the internet, like HRO and DX Engineering. This I like. The whip lays down, and you just have to be sure and remember before you pull into the garage. And again, that's the Diamond antenna, and they have one whip for each one of the ham bands. And there's the, let's see, K400, that's the Diamond mount on the bottom. So Diamond's a great way to go. And when the whip comes into place, there's a good spring in there that holds it nice and tight. So I wouldn't recommend it maybe for a motorcycle mount, but for a mobile mount, it's going to work where you just pull it up and lay it down, and presto, you're able to get into the garage. Now, if you've got a bigger whip on your mobile unit, such as my black wagon, you may want to go with a ball mount, and we'll be talking about those in the future, and they are still available. And back in the good old days where the chrome was actually a sturdy metal fender that we see on the aft end of my wagon, now you've got a good ground plane, and the ball mount is going to give you even more stability. And when we do demonstrations, we've got the HF antenna on the right, and you'll see that it is indeed right onto the well-grounded ball mount. And this is a little demonstration we're doing at Field Day for our Coast Guard Auxiliary Unit. Now, as Don is getting ready on his former Grand Am, Don, you're looking good. He's got it all cleaned up. And that was a great vehicle. No more, Don?
Yeah, it was.
No more?
No, we sold it a few years ago. Have the little convertible now. So.
Oh, well, anyway,
miss it,
and I imagine you probably got big antennas on it. But there's Don's vehicle in action. But when you're going to go a big antenna like this, you really got to do more than what would be a trunk lip mount. Even the giant K400 would hold it up mobile at rest, but at 60 miles an hour, it is going to probably cause a little bit of back and forth because it's just not enough strength in those smaller mounts. Now, we understand Randy's going to come to Quartz Fest, so Randy will let you pick your spot. And everybody saddle right up to Randy because he's going to probably have Skylink and we'll be able to steal the internet off of them. So, Randy, we are ready for you and the tales you're going to tell when the bomb cyclone is ready to come and hit town.
Yep,
so
we're starting to do the planning.
There you go. If you get a chance, the two major dealers and all the manufacturers are found in the Ham Radio Outlet catalog, as well as the DX Engineering catalog. Gigaparts and others do a fabulous job on the internet. And look at the pages that they have for the different mounts, and you're going to see that whether you're doing a 3H24 or you're going to do an SO 239 mount that looks like this, they've got you covered. And the two big players that have the most accessory and stainless steel hardware throughout, including those pesky little Allen screws, would be Diamond and Comet. They are my favorites. There are others, but you want to make sure you've got a mount that's going to stay there mobile in motion. So that's my story. And Amanda, back to you. And we've got all my little handheld radios ready to see who's got the weirdest handhelds.
Okay. Well, I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Brett would like to know, and this was in the pretty early in your picture showing, how do you adjust that kind of loading coil for the best SWR?
Let's see, adjust the loading coil. If it was that big high Q, that is adjusted by an internal sleeve that slides up and down the coil for resonance. If that was the big honking mobile coil, there's a little sleeve that slides up and down.
All right. And then this is really just open conversation because Leia brought it up. So I have to talk about this because I have damaged some car antennas myself.
We all have.
Yes. Anybody have any woes they want to share with us? Because I have cross-threaded too.
I have a woe of Leia destroying two of my antennas that were on top of my truck. I have woes.
Okay. You do have woes.
Yes.
Also, I've removed my 5/8 wave before and then didn't understand why nobody could not hear me on the repeater when I should clearly be hitting it until I back into the driveway and just says, I know why no one can hear you. Yes. Somebody had a great idea. Take that antenna and put it on your dash. So you remember to put it back on.
I've snapped a number of those Diamond Super Gainer 7900s off. There's a weak insulator or something in the middle, and I snapped a number of those off. And then I switched. Yep.
And I've got one that I call my Starbucks antenna. It's on the F250, and I've gone through Starbucks enough times that it flips over exactly the way for the Starbucks little header. Randy, you destroyed any?
Oh, you hear that scraping sound as you drive in.
That's fun, isn't it?
And of course, the real ham, when another ham says, where's your antenna? The real ham will not say that he knocked it off at Starbucks, but I've left it back in the garage. I'm not on the air. Yeah. Never admit that you wiped out your antenna. Never admit it.
Or if your wife borrowed the car, you do say that my wife tore it off at Starbucks. You never admit that you did it, even though it was probably you.
That's me.
I hope Leia is just like laughing her, you know what, off in the background there.
I'm sure she is.
Lessons learned.
Maybe.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing, Gordo. We appreciate your shots there. I think we'll let Icom take it from here.
This holiday season, elevate the amateur radio experience with Icom. Icom's top-tier transceivers and innovative features make the perfect gift for any ham radio enthusiast. Built tough for outdoor use and emergencies, Icom's handheld radios offer reliable performance, longer battery life, and clear signal quality. Beginners will love the ID50A for hours of fun and enjoyment. Easy D-Star settings, band scope with waterfall display, voice messaging, and share picture function. The ID52A is the first handheld amateur radio with a full-color 2.3-inch waterfall display. The IC705 and IC7300 are the go-to rigs for outdoor hams who love POTA and SOTA activations. Both radios feature a large touchscreen with real-time spectrum scope and waterfall display for intuitive functions and setting operations. The IC705 provides base station features and performance in the palm of your hand. The IC7300 is the industry's first to use RF direct sampling system in an entry-level HF radio. Icom's amateur base stations provide hams with powerful performance, clear signals, and long-distance communication. With versatile frequency coverage, superior receiver sensitivity, and easy-to-use interfaces, they suit both beginners and experienced operators. With the IC7610, faint signals are no longer challenging for DXers or contesters. The new IC7760 offers a modern connected system with a separate remote control head and RF deck linked via a standard LAN cable. With the IC-PW2, take your contesting experience to the next level with Icom's industry-first linear amplifier, which includes digital pre-distortion and a built-in 2x6 automatic antenna selector for single-operator 2-radio operation. For more information about Icom's amateur radios, visit icomamerica.com/amateur. Happy holidays, and may your signals be strong all year long.
And we want to say a big thank you to Icom America for sponsoring Ham Nation here on Ham Radio Crash Course. We very much appreciate everyone over there. Now, if you click on that little Enter Now button on the link that's in the video description, which takes you to the Ham Nation landing page over at Icom America, you can enter to win a swag pack giveaway. We give away 3 swag packs every time we are live, and we give away a radio at the end of every month. Now, that would be this show, but I had some issues with my email, and I wasn't able to pick the winners, but I've already talked to Ray. We're going to double up on the next episode. So we're going to give away the November 5100, as well as we're going to pick the swag pack winners. So make sure you go. This is your chance now. You get another whack at this to try and get this 5100, which is a fantastic radio that I have in my truck. So make sure you go to Enter Now, provide some information. It's some simple stuff like email, call sign, and name, and you get entered to win a swag pack. I want to also give a shout out because we're doing something really fun on November 30th, we are going to be doing a fundraiser and tech talk with the folks from the ARRL Teachers Institute, as well as some of my many, many friends here on YouTube that are ham radio creators. We're going to start early, so it starts about 2 p.m. Pacific time, and we're going to go late because we want to make the most of this because we've got matching donations to go to the Teachers Institute. And you've heard Steve K5ATA on the show before here talking about the wonderful things they do in educating teachers to teach the kids about amateur radio, which we find is a fantastic way to do that. So get ready. We're going to be doing this November 30th. If you've wanted to help out the ARRL Teachers Institute, this is going to be the time to do it because you're doubling your donations every time you support them through our live stream. So make sure you come out. It'll be a lot of fun. Dawn, let's take it away and learn about some news.
Yeah, let's do. Unfortunately, we don't have Dr. T this week, but you can always check her out on YouTube and on X, and I'll tell you how to do that right after we hear from Amateur Radio Newsline and the news of the week. From Amateur Radio Newsline, report number 2455. This is Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. Our top story this week focuses on the next generation of de-expeditioners. Get ready and get on the air as the youthful members of this team take on the challenges offered by Rotuma Island.
Listen for the pile-ups as a young generation of operators calls QRZ as 3D2Y. The strong presence of youthful operators is a hallmark of the Rotuma Island de-expedition, which is on the air from 15th of November through to the 4th of December. The Pacific Islands de-expedition group has sent a team to the South Pacific Island, including Greg W6IZT, Dean W2FQ, and Nathan K4NHW. The other half of the on-island team comprises Jamie M0SDV and Connor KD9LSV, who are both 24, and Lucas LY7J, who is 22. The team's operation is from the beach on the island's north side. At the same time, young operators in shacks around the world will be calling QRZ to get their first sampling of what it's like to be on the end of a DXpedition pile-up. The activation's remote component will be handled by youth on the air hams from their stations in Turkey, South Korea, Canada, France, and elsewhere. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
The support team includes Case Van Osbury, W0AAE, this year's recipient of the ARRL's prestigious Hiram Percy Maxim Memorial Award, and the Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year for 2023. The 100th anniversary of a commercial radio station in Sweden is kicking off that Jubilee year with a special CW transmission on the 1st of December. And yes, you can be a part of it too.
It has been a century since the call sign SAQ was originally transmitted across the Atlantic Ocean from Sweden to New York. The commercial station's VLF signal from Grimeton was received by 2 stations on eastern Long Island, the date December 1. On December 1st of this year, the same transmitter will be back on the air at 1000 hours UTC to mark the 100-year anniversary of that on-the-air ocean crossing. Its anniversary message will be sent in CW on 17.2 kilohertz from the historic World Heritage Grimeton radio station. This is the Alexanderson alternator, which bears the name of pioneering electrical engineer Ernst Alexanderson. Of course, technology has changed much in 100 years. Those who cannot be present in Sweden to see and hear the transmission in person, and those whose radios cannot receive a VLF signal, can still witness the event. The transmission will be carried as a live stream on the YouTube channel of the Alexander SAQ Grimeton radio station, beginning at 0920 UTC. Fans of the transmitter typically hear its regularly scheduled messages twice a year, on Alexander Sunday in late June or early July, and on Christmas morning. I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Imagine life on the road and life on the air rolled into one great combination. One group of hams in the UK is doing just that, and you're invited along for the ride.
The Facebook group started as a bit of fun amongst friends, but the UK Motorhome and Amateur Radio group has grown into a community that organiser Linda Mary Maud, G0YLM, describes as the perfect combination of 2 hobbies. She believes that amateur radio allows people to travel in one fashion, and a van or motorhome simply allows travel in another fashion. The group began a little more than a year ago as a bit of fun between radio friends and has taken off in popularity since then. The advantages include being away from the electrical noises encountered at home and, of course, the chance to meet other hams in person at last. In fact, she said, there are even a few boat owners and campers using tents who have joined the parade of camper vans, caravans and motorhomes. Linda would love to see the group becoming an international one. She told Newsline, quote, "If you enjoy radio and enjoy travelling, that's all we ask," end quote. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news since 1976 at arnewsline.org. With Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF, Graham Kemp, VK4BB, Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time right here on Ham Nation. All right, very good. Thanks to the Ham Nation crew for helping us put that together. Like I said, did not hear from Dr. T this week. She's been extremely busy, so of course you can always check her out on X at Tamitha Skov and her YouTube channel, Tamitha Skov, and of course spaceweatherwoman.com for everything that she does, and we certainly appreciate her efforts. Well, there's been some high-flying photography lately. In fact, it's been flying in from low Earth orbit. And Randy has been catching it as he catches ISS SSTV stuff.
Okay. Thanks, Don. Just start off here. We've been doing a lot of local testing here in Go Beach, so I got the official W5YI badge here a couple days ago. So that just appeared in the mail. So first I'm going to talk about my visit to the Vintage Tektronix Museum. And I just wanted to mention there's a bunch of videos on YouTube about that and that SAQ transmitter, and it's this is a mechanical transmitter, so there's not many transmitters that you have to turn on the oil pumps first to get the thing going.
Stuff,
so
yeah.
it's a project to get that
and
thing
it's
spinning. Huge and
huge.
noisy.
Yes.
Everybody has big cans on their ears.
Earmuffs on, yeah.
So anyway, let me switch here to my screen sharing. And okay, is that coming through?
Affirm.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Okay.
The ISS was last show.
No, I have some more on that, but we're going to
good.
talk about this first.
Good.
So a
I'm
couple
not
weeks
completely
ago,
out of date.
I was up in Portland and I visited the Vintage Tektronix Museum. So it's located in Beaverton, which is where their main headquarters is. And it's just west of Portland. In fact, if you stay on Route 26 here, it'll take you out to Seaside, where the CPAC Hamfest is. So this is what you see when you walk in the front door, and a really neat collection of stuff in here. This here is their first scope from back in 1948, and still running. And what's kind of interesting about this is that these scopes didn't have a calibrated vertical like we're all used to now. You got the 1 millivolt, 2 millivolt, 5 millivolt and stuff. So what they also built, and this is number one, is this precision square wave generator. They call it a video generator, but it's a square wave generator. So you could set this for, this the amplitude that you were in the range that you were going to measure. Then you go over to scope and you twiddle your vertical gain until it goes across and the number of divisions that you need, and then you were able to take and do a voltage measurement. Then the follow-on scopes, this was 512, 13, and 14. These were all kind of focused at different measurement needs, and about, after they got done building, several different scopes like that, they kind of then migrated to scopes with plugins. This is what the inside of these things looks like. All the parts are mounted on these ceramic terminal strips. They're all soldered with silver solder, and inside of all these scopes was a little row of silver solder if you had to do repairs. Repairs was kind of tricky, or wasn't very convenient, because a lot of times there's parts underneath parts, so you had to pull off the parts above and things like that. Here's another view of it. Inside of one of these. This is an earlier one before they were doing that. A lot of point-to-point, a lot of tubes and things. This scope here is a 517. So they asked me, how many tubes you think are in that thing? I said, 40. They said, no, 140 tubes. This bottom piece here.
What?
Wow.
How big is that?
It's got a daughter box of tubes.
And then here's the power supply down here on the bottom.
Mercy.
So yeah.
Like what size tubes? What kind of tubes do they use?
Yes.
They're like a 5-inch round back in those days. The original scopes, they were buying them, I think, from RCA and somebody else, but it wasn't long before they started producing all their own CRTs. So here's a whole line of what's known as the 500 series, and these had plugins. So this is vertical plug-in. This looks like 2 vertical plug-ins. It looks like a dual channel. Sometimes there was a horizontal plug-in, I think. This one over here was kind of interesting. This was aimed at somebody on a test bench where they're doing the same measurements over and over again as a product came by for calibration or whatever. So these plugins were controlled by this box over here, and they could have presets. So you just press the button, it would preset the scope. You're able to make your measurement, move the probe, and go on to the next spot. After the 500s, and they got into the 7000 series, they built, thousands and thousands of this stuff. So these typically would have some number of cells you could plug in vertical plugins, and some number of cells you could plug in horizontal plugins. This one is a double wide. It may be a spectrum analyzer plugin. Different types of CRTs. This yellow one, I imagine, is probably a storage tube. So here's kind of a selection of the tubes that they built there. It, thousands of people.
Hey,
CRTs.
Randy, drop some knowledge on us. What is all of this test equipment always used for? Like, what industries are always using it?
In electronics.
Okay.
Products being built and tested. We had a lot of this in the television world, military, for working on also, communications equipment, radar, who knows what. Cal Labs would use tech scopes to calibrate and repair tech scopes and stuff. So just all sorts of things.
Okay.
So here's a kind of an interesting selection. This one was kind of neat. So here's the electron gun. And instead of going down to a faceplate, it went down to an integrated circuit. So this was a to D converter.
Wow.
Before you could buy a chip to do all that at a high speed.
That's how you get your computer to your TV back then, instead of HDMI.
Yeah.
You had that plugged in between them.
Yeah. So here's a 1 gigahertz tube here, and this thing has elements down the whole length of the neck here, and it's kind of hard to see, but right along through here is like a 1/4-inch glass rod, and there's 4 of them in there in a kind of a square or a box. So all these elements are basically melted into that glass rod, and this is to make it thermally stable. They don't want these things moving around as it got hot and stuff. Again, all built there in Beaverton. And here's a close-up. You can see all the different things that are going on. Of course, a lot of pins down here hooking up to things. So I said, who's the black magic genius that thought of all this? And they said, well, we had a lot of smart people, and we'd tell them what we needed, and they go off and do it. Here's another one. You can just kind of see the front.
Wow.
1969 vintage.
Mm-hmm.
This is stuff I use in the video world. So up here in the top was also Tektronix had a whole series of different video test generators for making color bars, multibars, special test signals for measuring things. They sold color monitors using the Sony Trinitron tube. It was a real hot tube when that thing came out.
Mm-hmm.
This is a waveform monitor, which shows the voltage against the horizontal, and below it is a vector scope. So this shows you the color information. You can see the color bars here, and these are the modulation for each of the colors. But this here shows the phase relationship. So here's the burst, which is the reference, and these dots, they should fall in a little square on the faceplate for each one of the color bars here. So that's how you would tune things up. Here's a newer a waveform monitor. Here's some older ones here, quite a bit larger. And they had some Grass Valley Group products, which is where I worked my whole career. So here's some of the original green modules the company made probably back in the late 50s, early 60s, I think. These are various amplifiers. And here's a couple control panels for our video switchers. And this one up here, I did all the mechanical design on this. It was the first switcher we had. We used a plastic case. I worked with the molders.
Wow.
What,
switcher,
really? Yeah. First switcher that had a basically a printed panel instead of a silkscreen panel with all the information. And we could do cutouts in here, so we could have LEDs behind it to light things up. It was the first switcher we built that had the push buttons mounted on a circuit board. And before that, they were all mounted on metal channels with 6 connections for each switch, and all that had to be hand soldered. So
wow.
I find it fascinating that everyone there's so many people in the chat that are also familiar with this equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, you're showing me this equipment and it's like you're showing me hieroglyphics. I got nothing. So
what's
this
the
is
significance
amazing.
of the T handle? What does that do?
Okay, so
the wipe.
Yep, wiper mix.
Oh.
So basically, you would have a program row. So this is what's feeding the air. This is a preset row. So you could select what you would want to go to next, and you could move this arm and do either a wipe or a mix, or there's a cut button that would just do a switch. And up here is patterns for the wipes and a positioner to move them around. We had auto transition, so you could press a button, it would do it in a certain amount of frames. So you'd set it up here, and then there's a couple keyers which are used to insert the graphics and over the video. So these things now have grown up to over 1,000 buttons on the control panel.
Wow.
And that's what they use for your football games. I mean, they're just huge.
Yeah. Transition from one scene to another, so it's not a jump
other
cut.
scene. Oh yeah, all sorts of stuff.
And the breaking news graphic comes across.
All of it, yeah. All done with wipes and page, yeah.
The switcher integrates that, so the graphics are, generated on a graphics machine. But this is where everything comes together.
Wow.
So this was the baby one. This was our $10,000 switcher back in 1984.
Yeah.
Well, the 300 back then was probably 120,000, and then you started adding options to it, and that took a full rack.
Now, Randy, how did you get into this kind of business? Was it kind of internships? Is this what you knew you wanted to do? How'd this work?
When I was in high school, my dad and I built a Heathkit color TV, and I was working at a facility for the school district where they did all the AV repairs, and one of the guys there was part owner in a little 3-camera black and white truck. So I started working with him, pulling cables and running cameras, and the engineer in charge and stuff like that. And then at the community college, where I went for 2 years, they had a studio. So I was the only technical non-AV type person that they hired. So, I was fixing stuff there. Then when I transferred over to RIT, they had a much larger studio, more advanced with color. We upgraded from black and white to color, and that's where we got associated. We started buying some Grass Valley equipment, and that was my in to Grass Valley Group for like 36, 38 years.
Amazing. I can't believe I didn't know any of this about you.
I didn't either. That's fantastic.
It was my first job out of college, and that's where I retired from.
Wow.
Yep.
Were there a lot of hams on board?
Oh, yeah, we had quite a few there. In fact, there's a fellow at Tech, about twice a year, he sends out a spreadsheet of all the hams that worked at Tektronix or its associated companies. And it's, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
That's pretty cool.
Of people in there.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Wow.
They did a whole bunch of graphics terminals, computers. I remember playing, was it Lunar Lander on these things, where it would draw a little thing coming down. This one here, I think, is a 4,000 line display. It's kind of like a storage tube, too. You write to it, and it kind of stays there. So I have a video on this if you want to see more. It's been up since the 2nd of November, and for me, it's become a very popular video with, I think, close to 42,000 views, and I don't know, I think over 200 comments now. People talking about where they used all this stuff in their careers and which ones they have now, and so it's been kind of a really fun thing. So if you're ever in the Portland area, they're currently open on Saturdays. And I would imagine if there was a radio club that wanted to get out there, they'd probably make some arrangements to have it open at some other time. So if you're into this stuff, it's a great amount of history there.
Now, your title has vintage, so does Tektronix still make a bunch of stuff?
Oh, yeah. They still make a bunch of stuff. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's not quite like it used to be, but the technology has changed. No more CRTs. It's all LED or LCD screens. It's basically now a scope is a computer, and you feed a signal in, it does processing, and then the graphics paints the picture up on the tube. And once it's digital, it can do all sorts of measurement stuff, and it's just amazing now. And the Chinese have gotten involved, and you can get a pretty slick Chinese scope for like $350. It does a lot of this, so that's kind of eroding, I think, their bottom end, but still on the top end there. I would say they're the leaders. It's kind of interesting. There's a bunch of people say that the Tech made the great scopes and HP made a great everything else, but HP wasn't known for their scopes back then. So really interesting place.
Wow.
We had tech scopes at the Votech that I went to where we studied electronics. We had a bunch of tech scopes. I don't remember what the model numbers were, but
yeah. Well, the 465 was the big portable. They must have built, I don't know, tens of thousands of those things. So I was a field engineer for the group. I used to carry them with me. So I can't imagine taking one of those on an airplane anymore. I mean,
no. Well, I graduated high school in '78, so that'll tell you what the vintage were. Those scopes. They were older than that when I was there.
So we just finished up Monday, a week-long ISS SSTV event, and it was nice because it was one of these events that's on for a whole week.
Nice.
Basically 24 hours a day. There were some times they shut down because they had school contacts going on. So this is just a few of the pictures that I received here. I use my Icom IC 9700, and I'm using I think it's a Comet GP15 antenna. It's a vertical. It's a 6 meter, 2 meter, and 70 centimeter vertical up on the top of the tower. So
nice.
So this is the best ones. You know, there's a lot of noisy ones that
those are so clean. Those are very clean.
So anyway, that's kind of what I've been doing in my spare time.
Hey, Randy, I saw somewhere that people were earning a certificate. Is that you have to submit that you captured so many images and then you earn a certificate?
There's a bunch of different places. I think the ARISS group has a certificate. I know there's one down in Argentina. There's all sorts of different areas. So I would search away for ISS SSTV awards or certificates and see what you can find and do what they need. And you get a nice printout here. I have one from back in 2021 hanging up on the wall here. So
it would be really cool if they submitted it to you via SSTV. You would have to capture it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Randy, I did some experimentation during these passes down here in SoCal, and the most successful noise-free passes, not necessarily with a tracking antenna, but a stationary antenna, was a plain old discone.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
A discone antenna, 145-800. It was picking it up about 2 degrees on acquisition, and it followed it all the way down to even a goodbye land.
Yeah.
And the discone, amazing. So for those wanting to get started in tracking the ISS with AS and L rotators, we encourage you to do that. But start with a discone, and you'll be impressed.
It's kind of a neat thing because you can start off with what you have and you see what picture quality, and then you have lots of opportunities to improve.
Right.
Better antenna, and sometimes not a big antenna because you get a big, tall vertical and the pattern goes real narrow.
Sure.
Right.
Which I like here because I'm 1,100 feet up and 1 mile from the ocean, so I get them out here to the west of me. But when there's overhead at 70, 80 degrees may not be the best because you're outside of your antenna pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, those were great pictures, Randy. Wonderful.
They really were.
Yeah. Randy, can you repeat what your antenna is for satellites again so everybody could hear it? I might have missed it.
I think it's called a GP15. I think it's a Comet. It's a tri-band, 6 meter, 2 meter, 70 centimeter.
Oh, it's a vertical.
It's a vertical. Yeah, it's up on the top of the tower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that must have. I think that's just a simple one. So you got all those clear images on that antenna.
Yeah, those are the good passes.
Well, sure, yeah.
It comes with a horizontal radial, I believe, as the other side is 6 meters.
Yes, it's got a little stinger sticking out of it. Yeah,
right.
And it's all one piece. I didn't want a vertical up there that was in sections because with the wind we have here, I'm sure I'd find part of it on the ground or something.
And someone's asking if ISS is still transmitting.
Nope, it finished Monday.
It's donezo. Okay.
It's donezo.
Randy,
so the repeater is now on, and that's 437-800 receive.
Do you know, Randy, about how many of these SSTV events they have a year?
Good question.
For a while, they haven't been doing them. They had a test about a month ago, and that was the first one, I think, in about 18 months, maybe. I forget now. They usually do one between Christmas and New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea if they'll be doing another one or not this year. So you just have to watch the ISS website, their X, Twitter, Facebook, and ARL news service and stuff like that, because they always announce. Sometimes they'll have a event and they'll have very specific dates and times. And if you use a satellite tracking program and figure out where the satellite is or the space station is at those times, you'll find out it's over Russia, because this is managed from the Russian side of the ISS. So the ones we like are the ones that are 24 hours a day worldwide for a week.
Yeah, just to
and you
reiterate,
set your stuff up. Yeah.
No, I, just so I can understand, you're saying the SSTV portion of when they do those events, that's out of the Russian capsule. So they have to have like a Russian on board to do SSTV. Is that right?
Yeah, but I think there's always Russians there, but they're the ones that manage that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the U.S. side, I think, manages all the school contact stuff. So I think that's kind of how they split that up. So, but some events will be very specific times, and I get emails from people, I can't hear it. Well, it's not overhead. It's somewhere else. Now, unless you're really tricky and you use a remote SDR web receiver near that area and get the audio ported from that application into the SSTV decoding application, then you might. That'd give you another way to increase your chance of getting pictures too. Use receivers around the world. I've never tried that, but it should be possible.
It should be. I might be cheating a little bit. Well, thank you, Randy, for sharing all those with us. That's awesome.
And they had 12, and they had 12 pictures they were sending out. It seems like I get the same 2 or 3 almost all the time. I wish there was like an odd number to get it skewing more. I don't think I ever got picture number 3. So. Right. But a lot of people have gotten all 12. Yep.
Wow. You got to have good passes, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And turn your stuff on and don't turn it off.
That's right. Record everything.
Let it run for the whole week. Yep.
All right.
Randy, we love your adventures. Thank you.
Yeah. I have my ham clock set to show when the ISS passes are coming on. And speaking of ham clock, I don't know if some of our viewers haven't heard the Michael, the guy behind the Innovato Quadra, which is a great plug-and-play solution for the ham clock if you don't feel like building your own on a Raspberry Pi. Michael has said that he's been fighting pancreatic cancer. It's now spread to his lungs.
Oh, that's terrible.
And it's taken him down. So he is closing Innovato. So if you want an Innovato Quadra, he's still taking orders as long as the website is taking orders. They're going to try to ship, as many as they possibly can before he finally has to close the doors on that. But we certainly wish Michael the best. Yes. That Innovato Quadra is a great little desktop, very, very small form factor computer, about the size of a Raspberry Pi, a little bit bigger. But it's very, very cool, and it's a great plug-and-play solution for the ham clock. Like I said, if you don't feel like rolling your own on a Raspberry Pi. So, Michael, we're praying for you.
I think it's like $45 too.
Yeah, they're very inexpensive. Yeah, under $50. Dawn got it for me for birthday or some holiday. Yeah, I think it was my birthday last year or something. I absolutely love it. So,
he posted an email basically saying that he had over 450 orders within a couple of hours. Wow. The first of his emails, and now looking at the website, he's over 600.
He's saying 600.
Orders.
Yeah.
So he's had to kind of stop the orders at this point because they're trying to get them all out. They can roughly do 25 to 30 a day.
Yeah.
So 600 is a big number if that's the chisel size you got to work with. So they're going to be
trying to get them all done by the end of the year. So anyway, Michael, we're praying for you and
absolutely
appreciate everything you've done for the ham radio community with the Innovato Quadra. That was a cool little bit of kit.
Yep. All right, Amanda.
Okay, it's time for Ham It, Can It, or What Am It?
And
here we go.
And I guess also get your HTs ready, everybody. See if you've got more than all of us here. We'll test your HT capabilities.
Sharing. Okay. Am I sharing?
Yes.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah, it's Joe's birthday.
Happy birthday, Joe. I saw it on Facebook today.
I haven't seen him in a while. Like, just I don't know what he's doing these days. He's probably touring.
The Eagles, I think, have that residency in Vegas right now in the Sphere.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's
All
an
right.
HT something transmitter, I think.
I saw this because I really liked the antenna. I thought it was pretty cool, and this guy swears on it. First of all, I'm not endorsing anything, so I don't know. For outdoors purposes, this antenna, I guess, will rock your world, and hopefully it will last. And you can bend it. You can like fold it in half and stick it in your.
No.
It's
I
a
have some of them.
foul weather whip antenna.
Mm-hmm.
I have
No,
I
I
have
don't
a
know why
number
they
of
name
their
it foul
antennas.
weather.
I did a review of them. They're
Do
good.
you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I saw that and I thought it was pretty cool, and it's just so packable. So all you POTA people running out of room in all your bags if you want to bring one of those with you. This is so cool. I love this guy. I don't love the radio that he's got displayed the Bofang, but he put all this money into this really cool like Go box, and then he's got a Bofang on it. Fine, whatever. But I just loved it. I thought everybody else would love it as well.
Very cool.
It looks like if a Star Wars droid was a ham radio operator.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Or a trooper that's like trying to call back into base or something. Anyhow, it was really cool. Love it. This is our what am it? Anybody know?
It's something AM receiver.
Yeah.
How did you know that? Okay.
Because the
you're
bar
correct.
antenna.
Bar antenna.
It is so cute because it says AM earphone receiver micro. I didn't come onto the other picture of this until later, so I don't have a comparison, but this thing is shorter than a cigarette lighter.
Oh.
Yeah,
to
a
cram
big lighter,
a bar
it's
antenna in there, that
smaller.
wire's got to be tinier than a human hair almost.
Right.
Oh, look at that.
If you look at it wrong, it's going to break. Yeah. It's
Don't breathe.
I thought it
Well,
was
yeah, I
pretty
mean, you can
cool.
look at the size of the solder pads on there. You can see how tiny it is.
they're huge.
Yeah.
And it's obviously older. And this guy is he's on Instagram and he shows all kinds of these different receivers. He had some
That's
cool
neat.
Well, there's
lots
a date
of
there.
like
It says
lots
1982.
of yes.
Good year of my birth.
Gosh, you're so young. At least you're in your 40s.
Yeah.
Anyhow, he puts a lot of things in. A lot of them are Japanese because they have a bunch of Japanese type on them. So anyhow, this is another what am it? I don't even know what this is.
It's a
It looks
Meshtastic.
really mini.
It's a Heltec-based Meshtastic.
Okay. Well, there you go. Anyhow, this guy has got a new holster for his, so very happy for
there you
him
go.
or her. I don't know who you are. Muzi Works. Is this really needed? I mean, I guess
Yeah.
if you're.
Yes.
Yeah,
Do you guys use these?
Yes, for tuning a VNA. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Really?
your open
Okay.
short
Those are the-
load.
Yeah. I've seen that they have the little VNAs now that have N connectors on them too instead of the SMAs now. Have you
Yeah.
seen that?
This is
Yeah.
is an N type. So
That's- yeah.
Yeah,
Open, short, and load. Yeah.
I need you to send me that link. Oh, it's Rig Expert. Okay, perfect.
Rig Expert
Yeah.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
So because you need one of these.
Oh, you
I
need
have
one.
no
Oh,
idea
yeah.
what the price point on this or anything, but if you're very precise about calibration, here you go. So
Well, every time you use something like that, you occasionally will calibrate it for that reason,
Yeah.
just to make sure you're
all right,
accurate.
let me blow this up. I've recently started to kind of dabble in Blue Sky. This was one of my first posts I found in Blue Sky about ham radio. So I approve this post. This person. It's the first thing I run into when I'm looking up ham radio on Blue Sky. But anyhow, you can all read it. Survival and Post-Digital Apocalypse, Befriend a Ham Radio Enthusiast, or Take Up Ham Radio Yourself. Yes, I approve this. Do that.
Absolutely.
What is Blue Sky? I have to ask.
So I was going to talk about that at the end of this.
Okay.
Let's talk about it now. X it's the brother sister alternative to X. So basically the whole same thing. It has kind of like the same feeds.
Right. Yeah.
Things like that. People have left X because they think it's too political.
Okay.
And so Blue Sky seems to be the happier place where less politics are talked about. A lot of our ham friends have left X and gone to just Blue Sky. I'm just trying it out, everybody. You can find me there. I went to, hold on, I got a thing.
I like Ron's idea of everybody follow this alley rat person on Blue Sky, just unbeknownst to her, and shows up
Yeah.
and she's got a lot of ham radio operators following her. or him.
So I searched for ham radio on Blue Sky, and they have this whole list of ham radio people you should follow.
That's awesome.
Oh,
I am not on it.
I'm gonna go.
Not
Oh,
very
we'll
happy
change
about that. Okay.
How do I add
It,
Give 'em a minute.
it seems very British. There's a lot over the pond people to follow, but Amy and Jerry are on here, so
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah,
definitely
there they are. Yep.
there they are.
Amy.
I
There's
plan on
another
following a
social
lot of
media.
these people. Yeah, so it's more social media, and I have found some ham radio posts, not nearly as many as I have found on X. So chat, speak out. Do you want to see me on Blue Sky? Do you even use Blue Sky?
I may have to check that out. I
just
heard about
add
out
you
of
right now
curiosity.
once I get it set up.
I never
Doing
did
it now.
even. I never did fully embrace Twitter or X, so I don't know if I want to get into another one.
I'm
but-
a big Twitter person because I do follow a lot of news and a lot
Yeah.
of local things. Like it's totally for wildfires and
Yeah.
emergency things.
see
When
that,
you
yeah.
follow the correct hashtag, you're getting instant information.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
It looks like there's a lot of
Blue Sky is
fans in
interesting.
Blue Sky. So yeah, I'm doing it.
I
I'm
think so.
gonna get it right now. So
Okay.
thank you for sharing, Amanda.
There you go.
okay, this person didn't know what they were stepping into when they put this post on Blue Sky. Okay. Buy a ham radio just to meow on 121.5. Now, a lot of people
Oh
corrected
my God.
Amy.
They're on
About-
AM airbands talking to planes.
Don't
Yeah.
use your ham radio for this purpose.
No.
B, just don't talk on this frequency.
No, you don't.
All the things. So anyhow, they were schooled and they acknowledged their mistake and said, I don't actually mean this. Please don't do it. So
Yes. And yes, someone will find you and they will stop you.
yes.
That is an emergency.
Somebody will come knock on
frequency.
your door.
Yeah. Yeah. There are
Please don't do this.
there are ELTs on 121.5. So emergency locator beacons on 121.5. Yes. They will find you and they will stop
I
you.
think they're going to be licensed within a month. I guarantee it. Okay.
I hope so.
Ham radio at its finest on Blue Sky as well. There you go.
Ah,
There you go. Nice.
This is here I found some on X. This is just precious. Best way to predict the future is to invent it. Absolutely. I love this. These kids
There you
are
go.
all playing ham radio. OK1. I don't even know what country that is. I'm going to guess around the Netherlands.
Yep.
Okay. Not sure which one. And this was just a really cool. This goes with Gordo's segment for tonight. Some mobile installs that are pretty cool. I don't have a rack like this, so I can't install ham antennas like this for my mobile rig, but I thought it was neat.
That
It's
helical
just a pretty
antenna.
background. So
Mhm.
And watch out for the garage door.
Yeah.
Yes,
Kill that.
yeah.
yes. Not in the garage. This sounds really cool. So this is New Zealand, right? Yes.
That's
This
South Africa.
South Africa. This is
Mhm.
their emergency disaster preparedness kind of what we would call our EOC, Emergency Operations
Nice.
Center. Look at all of like the soundproofing and everything. It's a really nice room. Totally made like I've never been into an EOC here locally that's has its own radio room like this. I
Mhm.
thought it was amazing, and you guys should be bragging about this more because you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Let's see. This was Elmer night here in Parker at the Parker Radio Club. I just thought it was really cool that they bring all kinds of people in that don't know anything about amateur radio and teach them all
Neat.
about it. So I wanted to give them a shout out. And one of the club leaders is also our division vice director. So,
Well, there you go.
okay, this dude. How many HTs is too many HTs?
Oh, he's an amateur.
No such
He's
thing.
well, but look at
Dude,
he's
hold
got
my
that new
beer.
ID52.
That's a good start. What that
he's
is
got-
It
right
is a
there.
great start.
He's got the limited ID52. That thing's
Yeah, that's
And
nice.
like the
The silver
extended life bofing and
extendo.
yeah, I think that's like the higher grade one. I don't know because I don't know much about. So I was like, as I'm searching, this was on my phone earlier this afternoon. I'm at home and I look over to my HT table, as I will call it. And this is what I got going on there. And I'm
Uh-huh.
Wow.
you don't know nothing about HTs now, does
Oh,
he? No,
wow.
I mean, he does have a great start, but
I want to see
am-
where all the chargers are plugged into the plug strip.
yeah,
Yeah.
behind the desk that you can't see.
Yeah.
Actually, there's not many chargers. That's why we have mostly the same radios. But as you can see, the gang charger down below as well. I am obviously hating on Yaesu. because there's not a single Yaesu in this picture. There's seriously everything else. I've got a Bofeng that's for like showing and teaching people ham radio, and the Anytone that we bought while we were in California when it had mass floods back in last February. We got a radio and had it delivered in one day via Amazon. It was really awesome.
You got some nice Motorola's there, though. Those you got some nice Motorola's.
So those Apexes, yes, they are very nice, very expensive. Those are some that we use for P25. Joshua, remember we were talking about Motorola's. I got the XTS 2500s here for our P25 repeater operations. And this Kenwood is ham. This Kenwood over here is my emergency management Kenwood. This Kenwood is my state Oxcom radio. This is some kind of Jeff collection thing, and most of our vintage ones are put away in a box. And my sister's wedding evidently is also on its table. So
is that a Motorola charging bank below all of that?
Yes.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's for batteries that fit these guys, or your XTS 5000 would charge that.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. But hold. Josh is telling me to hold my beer because watch, this is the beginning of Josh's collection right here.
So that's a lot of Chinese radios, except a couple of really good Yaesus and a
He is totally radio bipartisan.
Yeah.
He does not care. So, and then there's his drawer of all of his
there's some
his mic.
Special hidden gems in there and all the accessories possible.
Okay, what is this right here? What's this like pink camo going on?
It's an FRS radio that has pandas on it, and I hand that out to kids and stuff when we're at like little events, campouts, whatever. I've got a bunch of FRS radios.
This white dude, I wasn't sure about what that is.
That's a clone of a Motorola Talkabout. It's a VHF radio. Or sorry, FRS radio.
Okay. So those are some of Josh's, and then these must be his more prized ones. I'm
this
guessing.
is the All Stars. Yeah, this is the All Stars.
Okay.
All
right.
For sure.
This is much. This is his prize shelf of things. I don't know what. I am not familiar with this radio right here.
It's the VRC N76. That's the one that does APRS in body, and it programs off of Bluetooth, and it has now a Bluetooth-enabled KISS TNC capability built into the radio. So you can connect any Apple Android device to it, and you could do APRS or WinLink, Packet, whatever you want.
What's the make? Okay. What's the brand of that radio? What make is that?
VGC.
Okay.
Oh no! Oh no! She's still watching. Amanda, quick! Get the images off the screen, quick! No, just. The wife is still watching. She's still watching.
Leia is busted.
I didn't know you had all those.
Thank you for showing me your buddy shack, Josh. That was really nice.
Yeah, that's my buddy's shack. Yes, it's a friend.
Yeah. Okay, so in this next picture, remember when I was doing the snow angels that night? This is how it snowed on Jeff's hunting camp.
Wow.
So the table is saving the generator there. And that is my tower trailer, our tower trailer. So that's we can fit this UTV, and we can break down this tower, and we can fit it all on this old boat trailer that we flattened out. And it's my God, I can't think, telescoping kind of tower. So it just reels up, and it's only about 10 feet. Like, yes, thank you. So we take it off the base, and then we can put it on the side of the tower or the trailer, and then we can put the UTV on there as well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. What was that question? Where is the number of current HTs?
No, N is a variable. So N+1, where N is the number of current HTs owned. That's how many you should have. Right. It's always N+1.
Okay.
That's right.
And this is just a view of our hunting camp last week. It was really great. It was beautiful to be away from society.
Beautiful.
Isn't it?
So you're already high up where you're at. So how high elevation are you at the camp?
You know, it's lower than what we do in the summertime.
Really?
It's about 8,500 feet.
Oh, okay. That's landlubber territory. We camp basically. That's Flatlander in Colorado.
We camp at 10,000 feet. So.
Meanwhile, here at 60 feet above sea level.
So there you go. I taught you all about Blue Sky. Find me there. Find Josh there, evidently. And of course, I still like my Facebook and those things, but Facebook is really hard to search random ham radio posts. Yeah. It doesn't do like a hashtag. So if you're not already friends with the people that are posting ham radio stuff, you're probably not going to see it, or you have to find ham radio groups. So it makes it very difficult. So if you want me to find your randos, follow me and I will follow you back on all socials. And Instagram, I'm not on Threads. TikTok, I have a profile. That's it. I'm not one for being on TikTok much. I don't have the app on my phone or anything like that. So I don't know if I will have a white Christmas. You know, it usually does not snow here over Christmas. So I hope for that because it's fun. And we're going to be going Christmas tree hunting. That's probably the only thing we're going to get for real. We're going to get a permit and go cut down a Christmas tree. Nice. Thin out the forest so they don't burn. You know, doing our part. So anyhow, that's us in a nutshell this week. And let me go over some nets. It looks like we're a little over time. Sorry about that, Josh. Don't forget to join on 40 meters, 70. What is that?
That's you're my first and only follower on Blue Sky. I have it running. You're it.
Like, who is that crazy lady?
I will add.
Okay.
Yeah, I will add some others, but you're the first.
Okay, so there you have it. Blue Sky. Look for ham radio. It seems pretty forthcoming, pretty much just like X. So, okay, nets 40 meters, 7192. Join Kev. Steve, 14268. I need to check in with him, actually. We got D-Star going on right now, 14 Charlie. They announced it in the chat. So get out those HTs and join in and have fun tonight. And let's not forget, it's Thanksgiving next week. And Gordo, what are you doing? You're doing a Thanksgiving deal, aren't you, on the radio?
This year, we're actually not going to be on the radio, but doing a maritime mobile. So we may squeak a signal out there on 20.
Okay. Well, everyone listen up for him. And so I say happy Thanksgiving. Let's go around the table. Don, what about you?
I'll be working next week, all except for Thursday when it is actually Thanksgiving. So that's, you know, if the sun is up and it's not a holiday, then you know, the cargo ship will be open, and I work for two of them. So that's what we're doing for that. Speaking of HTs, I've got several around here, but I didn't have enough time to go and look for them and find them all. The most unique one I have is probably the brand name is Cherokee. I found it at a ham fest, probably 20 years ago, and it's a 6-meter HT made by Cherokee. It's kind of cool. They also made an 11-meter, and I believe they made a 10-meter handy talkie as well. Yeah.
Gordo, did you
what
pull
about
out
you?
all your handhelds? Did you pull them out and we didn't cut to you? You want to show off some hand? Oh, he's already got a flashlight ready. Here we go.
Oh, my goodness.
Very, very quickly, and there we go. And in 2 weeks at our next cast, I want to talk about what's important for handhelds. And, of course, the AA, common AA, in an emergency is nothing worse than rechargeables that go dead. And most important, leading into in 2 weeks, all of the ads for dual band radios, but they're only one band at a time. So we're going to actually expose those radios that are true dual banders for working the International Space Station's repeater and hearing your own signal come back.
I love that.
And here's a Linko, an early Linko, and that is truly a dual bander. And Icom has dual band mobiles as well. That's
Gordo,
it.
That's you'd call that full duplex, right? Are those full duplex HTs?
Yep.
Full duplex is a better name, yes.
Okay. Oh, I'm excited now.
This is the second HT I ever bought. I've had this since the year I became a ham in 1995. It's the Yaesu FT530. The first HT I bought was a Radio Shack HTX 202 when I was studying for my license. And I bought this I bought this 530, and it is not working right now. I've got 2 other 530s, and I'm trying to cobble one together. But anyway, yeah, these are great, and these are really good for satellite. If you can find one that works.
Yep.
Yeah, these are
We
great.
got good stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now I never told everybody what
Randy's.
my most used HT is, and it's definitely my Icom, the pink one, because
the pink one.
it's really, really lightweight.
Because it's
Yep.
cute.
And I can actually wear it over on my hip, and it doesn't pull down my pants. And I can also just dip it in my purse. So it is my number one used. On events, I have to take a little bit heavier one that has a longer lasting battery, but that's what I like to carry for sure. So
All right,
Yeah,
Randy, hold tight for a second.
Randy,
Let's show Randy's.
you've
This
got
is-
some HTs.
So this is my shelf over here. So there's Yaesu, Kenwood, Icoms, all sorts of stuff. Even have my emergency radio there, AM, FM weather. And so that's my shelf. And there's a few more scattered around here too.
I do have almost a full collection of Alinco credit card radios, but I haven't finished that collection yet.
Oh, yeah.
Those are,
Yeah.
I
and
saw
those
one
were
of
on.
those at the Hamfest.
Yeah, those
Saturday
are cool. Those
for
are super
sale.
cool.
Yeah, those are very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, doesn't pull down my pants is a requirement on my HTs. Like it's a thing.
Good. Good.
Handy. Yeah.
Do scanners count?
Absolutely.
Yes, scanners.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can
have
carry
one
it
of those, too.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
I have a
Absolutely.
realistic scanner right here. It's a desktop model, but we listen to all the air traffic on it. So,
Mhm.
and it's got the little telescoping
Yep.
little antenna here. So
That's
Jeff
awesome.
loves listening to that. What's that one, Randy?
Yeah, what is that, Randy?
This is a TID radio, an H3, I think it is.
Mhm.
This is probably the today's replacement for the Baofeng, I would say. But what's neat about this, your typical dual band, it does all that stuff, but it has USB-C charging on the battery,
Ooh, there you
as
go.
well as a port on the side. You can program it through the USB-C, so you don't need a special cable. It has Bluetooth in here, so you can program it from an app on your phone,
That's a cool feature. I've seen that. Yeah.
Mhm.
and you can clone one radio from another wirelessly
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Wow.
for like $30.
That's really good.
Oh,
And my-
wow.
And mine meets spec. A lot of them didn't there for a while. If you
That's
look
the
at
big
YouTube
thing.
reviews. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
good to
this
hear.
one, this
Mhm.
one's a keeper.
May have to buy one of those. I've been looking at that.
I
Does
buy
it have to
several,
come in
they're
that
cheap.
color? I guess
No,
you
they
won't
got
lose
other
it that way.
colors.
I think they have one that's in clear too, don't they?
I think so.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's my trick.
You can see the innards.
If they have a
Yeah, you
clear
can see
one,
the
I'm a
innards.
'90s kid, so if they got clear.
Oh, yeah.
that's-
Oh, you don't have one,
Clear
Josh?
phones.
No, I don't,
don't have a-
because I
don't
had a
have a
couple. I
kid?
had a couple of them that were not spuriously clean, and so I haven't really
Yes.
looked back at them. So if you're telling me they're clean, I'll
Well,
take another look.
I don't guarantee they're all clean.
Okay.
Well, I think he has
Good
the
call,
test
good
equipment to
call.
tell.
I did. Yeah, I'll test it.
Don't blame me if it spurs all over the band.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you.
We got all the nets.
And I think, yes,
I
I
think
did
so, okay.
mention all the nets. And now I just have to say happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy
Absolutely.
Thanksgiving.
Gobble gobble, everybody, and
Absolutely.
73, 73 to everybody for watching. We thank you so much, and have a great rest of your week.
We'll see you December 4th.
Good night.
And I guess if we're paying attention to Amanda, obviously the clear thing is go buy some more handhelds. You don't have
think so.
enough.
Black Friday.